Good morning, everyone, or evening, afternoon, wherever you are. So nice to be back here again with you on a fine Monday morning. You know, what's so funny? We're so conditioned into the idea of a weekend and then our work week, and then we've got Monday is like, we know, okay, the weekend's over, now it's the start of my work week, and then we can't wait till Friday comes, and it's the weekend. And all of these things uh, we've created these sort of patterns for ourselves. They've evolved into these patterns, and so we think about our life in terms of Mondays and Fridays and the weekend. So, but it's all good. So anyway, I'm Brian Jones, and I'm a trainer in heartfulness meditation, and I'm happy to be with you all today. If you would like, please feel free to put your name and where you're from in the chat. I always like to see, who's tuning in and from where. That's great. So already I've got a few people who are signing on. Mahima, welcome. Jenny, Mac, good morning. Bhutana Kiran, it seems like maybe that's two names put together. I don't know. Hey, Michael from UK, welcome. Thanks for coming back and joining in. Appreciate that. Tharun from Hyderabad. Oh, Jenny, you're from Dayton. Oh, fantastic. Well, and you probably do know this. Maybe you go to our small ashram there in Beaver Creek. I'd be curious to know if you are attending any sessions there. And if so, you would know our dear friend Uma and Ravi. She does also one of these sessions a couple times a week. So anyway, glad you are joining in today. Tharun, welcome. Heartfulness, hey, good morning to you. Piyush from Bangalore, yes, great. Anil, welcome. Jatinder from India, from Chennai. Okay, fantastic. From the home of Babaji Memorial Ashram, where I've spent so much time there over the many years when Chariji was with us, and just so many memorable moments there at that ashram. Narendra, welcome. Rajiv, welcome. Great. Good morning. So, look, I just wanted to mention that over the past couple of weeks, I've been speaking more from my own personal life journey and lessons and learnings. I haven't focused as much on the practice, and I've been getting a very good response to that because, look, there's all kinds of ways that we grow, that we evolve. And the past 2 weeks, what I've been talking about is not so much learning, okay, because we can learn every day. But what I've been focusing on is learning how to learn, learning how to learn. And for me, that was a big one. Ever since I was young, I was an observer. I spent a lot of time in nature, and I would just observe. And I was an observer of human nature. I'm a people person, and I'm a people watcher. I mean, I like to, just observe how the world goes round and nature works, and how human nature works. And so I've learned, I think, ways to learn. And so I like to talk about that and share that with you all. Today is going to be a little bit along those lines as well. So today what I talk about is transcending the meaning of words that we're used to saying and that have powerful meanings to us. And these words that I'm going to get into have a very long history for us. We've been using them for, maybe thousands of years. But I want to take it from a little bit different perspective today, and share some thoughts with you that you can ponder. Okay. And before I do that, I see quite a number more people have joined in. So I just want to quickly say hi to Meena, Rachita, Mita, Rajiv, Narendra, Jatinder. Okay. Glad you're all here today. So, words. So much of our understanding comes from words. And words have had various meanings over the centuries. Words that started out meaning maybe something very specific, now may have a very different meaning that's also specific, but in a totally different way. Or words that were very specific now may have much a broader meaning. And so every word we say is very powerful, and how we say it, how we use our words it's powerful, it's impactful. I mean, I like to say that words are things. Just as, okay, I pick up my cup of water here and I drink it. Okay, I've done something. I've taken an action. I've picked up the water. I've tasted the water. It's good. It's refreshing. This is a thing, and the water is a thing, and it has had an effect on me. Well, words are things too, and words are powerful, and they also have an effect on others, and they certainly have effect on ourselves. So today, I want to talk about some words that have been around since the beginnings of religion. And I want to give a new spin on it. I did this in a class on Saturday, and I sort of had some other thoughts about it. So I'm revisiting this today for you all. So I want to start out to set this up and set up where I'm going with this. I want to start off with something that Babaji said, and Babaji is one of our guides in heartfulness. He was the second in the lineage of spiritual guides. And Babaji said something that's really insightful. Well, he said some endless things that are insightful, but this particular thing that I want to share with you is it's sort of a way to assess where we're at as a civilization and where we're at individually in our spiritual progress. So here's what he said. He said, where religion ends, spirituality begins. Then he says, where spirituality ends, reality begins. Then he doesn't stop there. He goes on to say, where reality ends, bliss begins. And then he says that where this bliss idea ends, this bliss ends, that's sort of the beginning of our spiritual existence, let's call it that. So if you think about that, that is quite an amazing progression. And if we look at this in the context of where the world is at, I think we can clearly say that the age of religion we see is fading off. I mean, it's still here, but now we've moved big time into the spiritual, what we call spiritual. Now, so what is the difference between religion and spiritual? Well, religious thinking is one where, everyone has accepted a set of beliefs. They're usually pretty rigid beliefs. And though these different religions may all believe in one God, they don't believe it's the same God. Everybody has their own God. And so that's created a lot of divisions and a lot of conflicts and a lot of wars over the past, millennia. Religion has been, sadly, for all that it has to offer, religion has ultimately been very divisive. And so spirituality is, the next version on that. And I think this is where we're all coming together. We're uniting, we're looking at the bigger picture. And when we say, I'm a spiritual person, what that usually means is that there's a lot of things I don't know, but I believe there's a higher something, and we can call that higher self. They sometimes even still calling God, just using the word God. There's a higher self, or we call it the ultimate, or reality. There's different names that we use, but for a spiritual person, they know there's something more. They know there's a source that we come from. A spiritual person will generally accept that there must be some sort of higher intelligence or cosmic intelligence, and that intelligence may be very different from the way we view intelligence. So spirituality has gone a long way to bring us all together. Okay. But what I find is that the terminologies that we used from religion have now still carry over into this realm of this spiritual era that we're in. Now, Babaji then talks about how where spirituality ends, reality begins. Oh my gosh, wow. So think about where we're going. All right. So that even our spiritual concepts are going to give way to a greater and more profound understanding about ourselves and this amazing universe that we're a part of. So I don't want to go further than that right now. So now I want to introduce these words and how powerful they are, and I want to talk about them. So the words I want to talk about, starting with the religious context, okay? Gratitude, longing, love, devotion, humbleness, surrender, and faith is another one I can add to the list. Let me write that down. These words are very powerful for we human beings and have been for, a few thousand years. And the religious context of words like faith, for example, devotion, they've meant a certain thing. They've been very defined through our various religions. These words have been very defined, and they have a heaviness about them. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but they sort of have a bit of a heaviness about them. When we say, he's very devoted, if we say that from a religious context, it has an intensity about it. Okay. Or we say that, I need to surrender. It has an intensity about it, a bigness about it. Now that we've been in the realm of spirituality for quite some time, we still use all of these same words. We still use all these same words. But what I want to point out today is that we need to let ourselves, as we've evolved in our spiritual thinking, we need to also evolve these words as well. They need to take on a lightness. They need to take on a different connotation and openness. So when we think of things like, faith, it no longer needs to refer to my faith as a Christian, my faith as a Muslim, my faith as, you know, pick a religion. Okay, we refer to those as our faiths. All right. Now, in the realm of spirituality, when we say faith, it doesn't refer to something specific. Okay. When we say faith, it's more personal. Now it's something where, I have faith in something that's higher than myself. I have faith in the goodness of humanity. I have faith that the world can change and be a better place. So, just this one word, faith, is starting to take a new shape. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Let's take a word like surrender. Okay. In the religious context, surrender used to be so intense that in the Christian faith, you would do things like, flogging oneself, with these ropes, that would make your back even bleed, put yourself through all these sort of self tortures. And this was true also in India too, of the ascetics, that would, live on, 3 grains of rice a day, or would stand on one leg for a year, or would do so many different things, sort of a self-mortification in concept, to destroy the self and to reach a point of total surrender of this self. So that was a little gruesome. That was heavy, but now, we realize that doesn't work. That's not what we're supposed to be doing at all. We are beautiful divine beings of light, and all we're doing is uncovering our birthright. And if you've watched many of my sessions, or if you've read some of the things I write about on Quora, you find out that I'm not a big fan of surrender. I'm not a fan of it because when we set out to surrender, the I is always there. The ego is always there. I surrender. Really? I doesn't surrender. We're trying to just uncover all of the baggage around our sense of I, okay, and free ourselves from thinking that there's anything separate than who we actually are right now, who we are in this moment. This is it. This is our divine nature, and all we're doing is uncovering that and be able to say without fear or hesitation, yes, we are these beautiful beings of divinity. We are that. So I'm not a fan of surrender. And instead, something I learned a long time ago was that instead of trying to say, I'm trying to surrender, it's better to depend, create a sense of dependency on, the guide could be a part of it, your spiritual guide, your spiritual master. You might want to depend on them if you've come to the point where you realize how much they can help us. When we depend on them, then we've sort of transferred, the weight of trying to solve everything ourselves onto the spiritual guide and saying, I'm depending on you. We've reached that point where we know that they can help us. And when we fully depend, a day comes when we're sort of blessed with this state of surrender. There's just a letting go. And that's a spiritual condition. That's a spiritual state that we enter into. So we should never really have to struggle on our spiritual journey too much. Okay, I want to talk about another word that's powerful and misunderstood, and that's the term humbleness. Humbleness. What does it really mean in a spiritual context? Well, what it means is that, and what all these words actually mean, is It's referring to an inner condition. It's referring to an inner environment that we create within ourselves. We create within ourselves a condition of dependence. We create within ourselves a condition of faith. We create within ourselves a condition of gratitude, an inner environment of gratitude. So when we think of the idea of the word prayer, which is a very religious terminology, if we want to strip away all of those previous meanings and all that baggage around that word and bring it up into at least the realm of the spiritual, what we can say is that when we create an environment, an attitude within of humbleness, we're creating a state which resonates with the higher self within, with the divine guide within. So humbleness creates an inner condition that allows us to resonate with the highest self within. Now, is that not even a better way of describing prayer? Because if we just say the word prayer, it means something different to every person. It may still have a lot of the weight, the heaviness about it, oh Lord, please, Lord, help me, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. We reach that when we're at a loss in life for what to do. We turn to that higher power. But, when we begin to understand these words and be open to realizing what they're really referring to, all of these words are referring to a way to soften the heart. Let me read them again, and you're going to see exactly what I'm saying. Gratitude, longing, love, devotion, humbleness, surrender. What are these words describing? Really, they're only all describing one thing. They're describing a way that we soften the heart. That's it. And so when we think about, where we came from with religion and now where we're at in spirituality, if we want to think about this next step where religion ends, spirituality begins, where spirituality ends, reality begins. Now we're talking about a real sense of personal freedom. We're allowing ourselves to really let go of definitions. Okay? And we can now have the understanding to say, oh, wow, all those things that I used to think about that meant so many different aspects of my spiritual life or religious life, I can, now I understand. Oh, wait a minute. No, all this is talking about is a way that I close my eyes and I imagine that my heart is softening. Now we've made a quantum leap into reality. Reality, in order to reach reality, we transcend the meanings of all of these words, and we gain a great, immense sense of lightness and freedom from our definitions. Because really, what are we? Me, Brian, I'm a definition. That's what I am. I am a definition of myself. Just as you, Anil, are a definition of yourself. You, Rajiv, are a definition of yourself. You, Meena, you're a definition of you, right? So it's good to ponder these things. And look, the tools of heartfulness and meditation and cleaning, those are also not constrained to the realm of religion or to the realm of spirituality. They lead us to the realm of reality, and they lead us to where reality ends, bliss begins. And where bliss ends, then we're beginning our journey. So, what does that mean? Okay. Well, if you think about this, what it's pointing to is that we're letting go so much of our self definitions that we're becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. We're becoming less conditioned by our past. And now we come to a point where we feel we're so light that we feel blissful. And that's the nature of our self, of our soul, is to have a lightness, a sense of blissfulness. It's our real nature. So it's important that we let go of our definition of ourselves. Now, so what Babaji says is that even bliss comes to an end. Okay? And then wow, what then? It's almost a state of wonder, right? Can we even say what it is? We don't know. So, excuse me. So this is why I always liked that Chariji used to say that, he used to say he wants lions, not sheep. And what I came to understand from that is I came to understand that what he's saying is it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to let go of our ideas. Because we think we've let go, but then what's happened is generally we have just a subtler idea about these words and these ideas. And so, so where we're really going is this condition of lightness, inner condition of lightness. And that's something that we reach very quickly by doing a practice like heartfulness, where we're applying the cleaning to clean away all of the experiences and impressions of our past that influence us, that define us. We need to clear all those away. That's why this cleaning process in heartfulness is so important. Then, the other such important aspect of heartfulness is the transmission. And we receive this higher frequency, we can call it, just for sake of understanding, we receive this higher frequency that settles the mind, opens the heart, and we're able to go deep within. And we're able to let go even more. We can get totally lost in this beautiful inner state of samadhi. And so these tools of heartfulness, they're designed to help us let go of the conditioning of our past and to let go of our self-definitions so that we can become free agents of this universe, that we really are free spirits of this universe, and live a life that's not as intense, and that we don't need words even like love to be an expression of love. So that's what was coming to me to share today. And with that, I think it's time we can meditate together, if you're all ready. And let's let go. and be open to receive and experience, something new, something we haven't experienced before. So with that, let's sit comfortably. And it's important to sit comfortably so that we can really just forget about the body and allow ourselves to go deep within. And also, if you feel that your head is maybe dropping down, Maybe you might think you're going to sleep and you want to try and stay alert. Don't worry about that. It's natural that the head bows to the heart, and that's a sign that we're going deeper into our meditative state. So let's get started. Everyone, please gently close your eyes. Let's take a slow, deep breath in and let it go. Let your shoulders relax and drop down, and your arms and your hands. Gently let your awareness drop down out of your head and come down and rest on the area of the heart. And now I'd like you to feel a softening of the heart. Let the heart soften and feel a lightness there. And let's rest on the source of this lightness, the source of light already present in the heart. And just feel that the source is inviting you homeward. Let's stay with that thought. That's all. So please take a moment and be a witness to your condition. Feel that this inner peaceful condition is expanding within you and around you. And now let's have the thought that everyone in the world is also a part of this deep state of peace. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I want to thank you for being a part of the session today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And I also want to mention that yesterday we had a video session with Daji here for North America. And that video is posted on YouTube. So I highly recommend you hearing that talk that Daji gave. It's so good. It's really inspiring. And he covers a lot of deep topics. So until next week, I really wish you all the best. And as I always say, just stay with the heart and all will be well. Take care.